Hey everyone, it's Body Bags here with another RBET Top 16 deck profile. This is a special one to me because we got Dimitri here, who's in our locals, and this is his first top. This is so badass.
That's right.
What did you play today? What did you play today?
I played Dragon Turbo, baby.
Played Dragon Turbo. And you know what's funny about this one? I remember when you first picked up this deck, I had to lend you a couple cards, and now look at you. Now look at you. Where are you at now?
I'm top 16 at RBET Maryland.
Hell yeah. All right, you want to get into the profile?
Yes.
Cool.
So one thing I want to talk about before I get into the deck, because
You've been grinding this one.
I have been grinding. Yeah, I've gotten a lot of practice with it, and I think there are a lot of maybe not misconceptions, but I feel like people are a little maybe not sure as to what Dragon Turbo is really all about. So
I think it's just a one-trick pony that kills you on one turn.
So a lot of people, right? So they see it as a sort of OTK style deck. But really, it's a deck where you have to be really good at weighing risk and reward. Mm-hmm. So when you're going into late games with this deck, a lot of questions will come up, like how deep do you have to dig with Rejuve while respecting possible answers like card destruction or morphing jar. What 6 cards do you keep? That's very important.
Very true.
Because you don't always dig through the entire deck.
But you end up with all the cards like the Uno meme.
Yes. What synchro plays do you make? You kind of have to evaluate the board, and your options really start to increase as your graveyard piles up. And sometimes you might have game with Blue Eyes, but Drago's the safer play because it respects Gore's, Trag, Battle Fader. So you have to ask yourself, do I go for the OTK? Or do I sort of...
What can I survive another turn?
Do I survive? So you have to be really good at risk and reward. So just keep that in mind as we talk about the deck and some of the choices. So of course, we start off with 3 Blue Eyes. And of course, to pair with it, the 3 Whitestone of Legend.
That's where it came from.
Yep, this card's very good.
Dragon or the egg.
Your synchro plays. When you discard it with cards of consonants, you get this. You pitch it to trade in. You fuel your dragon count. It's your typical bread and butter play. Very powerful too because it sets up your grave both for Debris Dragon and Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. Speaking of which, probably the best card in the deck. Very strong.
It's one of my favorite cards in the format, to be honest.
Yeah. The fact that this is a 3/2, and you can bring in late games. You can bring back synchro monsters like Stardust. It's just fantastic. 3 Debris Dragons to revive the Whitestone of Legends. Sometimes you revive the Vortex Trooper to go into Black Rose Dragon. Or in some instances, maybe Ojama Knight in the late game so that you can use it for more synchro plays. And then with your Red Eyes Darkness Metal, you can get, this and tune into a 6. And then for the 1-ofs, I have 1 Drago, 1 Vortex Trooper, and this is a little unorthodox, 1 Wyvern, 1 Trag, and 1 Gores. So in deciding this, I had to do a lot of thinking, and this question was killing me for so long because all of the lists that I've seen currently, they're on Flamville Guard, right? It's another tuner that you can use with Instant Fusion. It's more fodder for cards of consonants.
Yeah.
But for a very long time, I was on this card, and I didn't want to cut it because I would see it with Future Fusion, or I would see it with
So other decks don't play it at all, even though they play the Red Eyes?
Well, not currently. So a lot of the topping lists, they're on Guard instead. And I tested Guard. So I was calculating the probabilities, and what I concluded was if you add all the probabilities of opening Future Fusion and not this card, or a discard outlet with this card, and compare it to all of the favorable situations with Guard, so whether that's cards of consonants, Instant Fusion, and you don't draw tuner, this comes up more often. And there were at least a couple of games where I was able to get this out early, banish it, and then bait some answers that they have. So there was one game where it baited out an Honest, another where it baited out removal. So, and then You're also on the Vortex Trooper, of course, very good in the early game, sets up for Black Rose Raider. This helps you go for OTKs. And then these two are really good. Gores is an excellent protective option. It saved me multiple times. It can set up for synchro plays. And you're only on 3 traps. Some people see this as a little bricky because the idea is, oh, well, if you're on 3 Reckless, it can conflict with this.
Yeah.
But generally, I find in the hands that you have where you really need to buy time, this is phenomenal.
For sure.
Now for the spells, we're on 3 Super Rejuve. It always feels great to say draw 10 on end phase.
Draw 10.
Yep. 3 copies of Trade-In to pitch the Blue Eyes. 3 cards of Consonance for pitching the Tuners, of course. 3 Upstart Goblin. There are some times in the late game where you want to sandbag this card because they might be in OTK range, but if you use this in the late game without thinking about it, it could be that you had a play that might finish the game.
Right.
But this made it so that's not the case anymore. So you really, in late games, only want to go for this if it helps you dig for an answer or progress your plays.
Yeah. Especially in this format where it was like time rules instead of like turns at the end. Like you can, you don't want to play that when you're near the timer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like even like the rules of the format makes it a little different too.
Right. 2 Magic Stone. I was debating cutting this to 1, but I worked out the probabilities and I found that there are a lot of hands where you open this with at least 2 dragons and the Super Rejuvenation, and late game it's really good. You'll see your other spell choices. If you have a lot of spell diversity, this is great in the late game because it can get you any answer that you want.
Yeah.
And just helps you close things out. Now, there are a lot of these options where you can debate going one way or the other. But I strongly believe that if you want to play this deck, you have to main, not side, main 1 copy of Lightning Vortex.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
That's a combo.
Right. So the thing is, the old lists were playing this, and then they cut them, and I'm not sure why.
Wrong.
Yeah. This is just, in so many games, Raigeki with upside. So it increases the dragon count, sets up the graveyard, and you might think, well, in a lot of these cases, if you have a tuner and let's say instant fusion, you can just get a synchro to answer whatever board they're making. But this answers Duplock, this answers Christia. This there was one game where this, it actually won me both games against Amiridis, where they had a giant board, and this was able to help with the OTK. It helps with Christia, it helps with Ab-Zero. And, it's not just something that you bring in to the side to answer cards like Fossil Dyna or Kaiku. Like, there are so many games.
It's actually core to the strategy.
Yeah. I think this card's phenomenal. Of course, the Future Fusion.
What does that do? I'm joking. I'm joking.
Oh, it just quintuple Foolish Burial, card destruction, of course, to dig deeper, Avarice, Heavy Storm, and I am only on 1 instant fusion. Again, I'm not playing the guard. I really wanted to play a second one of these, but I couldn't find space. And again, I thought that in these matches that I played, the fact that I wasn't on the second one of this or no guard, that it would, spell trouble for me.
Yeah.
And then in my very first game, I opened this, Wyvern, Red Med, and Rejuve, and I was like, yeah, I made the right decision.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, this is phenomenal too. And then, of course, your 3 Reckless Greeds to also dig deeper. You side these out if you're not going first in games 2 and 3, just because it can be a little slow. But this is very important to the deck to make sure you dig for your answers. Do we do side or extra decks?
Yeah, whatever you want.
Yeah, so then for the extra deck, of course, we have the 5-head. I'm on Ojamanite and Musician King. Just because of Drago, I've considered cutting this for Mariner. There are situations, though, again, in late games where you want to be able to bring this back with Debris, and then you play one of these. I fumbled in one of my matches. I went for instant fusion thinking that I had a second one of these, but I didn't.
Oh,
so yeah, it was, I was playing so much Yu-Gi-Oh today, but it's again excellent card, helps you go for red med when you don't have the cards in your hand.
Yeah.
And then Dragoness the Wicked in case you need a level 3. Trident Dragion. This one me.
Hell yeah, you got it out?
Yep,
Nice.
I got it out. Not with Primat either. It was, but with Debris and then making Iron Chain into this, popping 2 of mine, and I had Lethal, and I'm glad I did because they had this giant graveyard that I card Destruction, and it would have spelled trouble for me, but I had the OTK. Stardust for the 8. Dark End. This used to be. This didn't come up today. Well, there was one match where it could have. But you can make this with Gores or Trag, copying the level of Gores. AFD and Black Rose for your level 7s. This is really good if you have Vortex Super Grave. Tempest Magician, really good. In my last match, this was able to apply a lot of pressure, do a lot of burn damage. Goyo, Brio, Iron Chain, and Catastor for the 5. And this came up a lot in my first match. Like I was stealing level 4s with Trag and then syncing with the Whitestone. And you can also make it with Wyvern. Now for the side deck. So for the monsters, I am on 2 Drago. And I'm glad that I am because I played against a lot of Vayu and Lightsworn today. I see a lot of sideboards currently that only play one of this, but I think 2 is really good. 2 Crow. This came up a lot against Vayu Turbo and other decks that are reliant on Grave. And then Primat, I mainly play this against Amiridis to turn the burn into life gain, or Black Wings and Hero Beat. But I didn't really see much of those decks today. And then we have, for the traps, 2 Decree, very good against back row heavy decks. 2 Mask of Restricts against Frognark. Solemn Judgment, this is also against decks that have good normal summons, so if they're playing like Gear Frame or Monarch as well, this is really good because it stops the summon. And then Deck Dev, which I use, it's mainly against fairies and Quick Draw. Because you're on a lot of darks, and since you're also on the dark hand traps like Gores, this can put in a lot of work. And then, and then also Mirror Force. That you kind of side in as a mix-up. And then for my spells, Braincon, Nobleman, and Second Vortex. This I play if I'm either against Trap Dragons or another Dragon Turbo, because it can steal the red med. This for decks that like to set, and this if you need more removal.
Cool, man. Well, you did it, man.
Yeah.
Badass.
We did it.
That's so sick. Yeah. Well, you got any shout-outs?
I personally want to thank the Edison community here in Maryland. I've been playing this format for about a year and a half now, and when I started, I didn't know many people, and very quickly, many of you have become people that I consider my friends, and you've made me love the community here, and that's really important to me, so I have to thank you for that.
That's what it's all about, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Cool, man. Well, thanks a lot for coming. We'll see you in September.
See ya.
See ya.